Hi everyone, this is Usha Pandit, your Mindsprings English teacher. Today I've got you something new. We're going to do poetry. Poetry is like a piece of art, okay? A lot of people try to paraphrase poems. So what do? They try to understand what is the meaning of the poem and they try to make it into sentences. And therefore they destroy the beauty of the poem. So poetry is supposed to be done in a very different way, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to read poetry and how to analyze it and how to appreciate it. Okay? So today I've chosen a very simple poem for you. It's 6 lines and 39 words, just 39 words. Famous one, I'm sure you've done this in school. The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. It's one of those very, very classic poems that lots and lots of us do in schools. So I've chosen that one and it's just 39 words and 6 lines. And see what the poet has packed into it. So because poets use 39 words, 100 words, they're not writing a novel. See? So those 39 words or 100 words or the economy of words that we say. That is, they are very, very miserly with the number of words that they use. And therefore, each word we need to weigh properly. We need to look at each word carefully and say, what is the wealth of meaning that is there in each word that the poet uses. This is very important. If you don't do that, you'll miss out on the beauty of the poem. So let's read it first. So the Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. He clasps the crag with crooked hands, close to the sun in lonely lands, ringed with the azure world he stands. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. He watches from his mountain walls, and like a thunderbolt he falls. Okay, very simple, small poem. So how do we do this? Now if you look at it, one of the first things you should be doing is looking at the title of the poem. See, title. So the title tells me that it's about an eagle, right? And when the title tells you it's about an eagle, one of the things to do is to think about what do I know about the eagle. Any poem that you pick up, ask yourself, what do I know about this? So if it's called the Daffodils, what do I know about the daffodils? If it's called the dog, what do I know about the dog? So you can, if it's called the museum or the moon or grandmother's story, whatever the title, ask yourself, what are my first impressions? And what do you get for the eagle? Plain speak. Plain speak meaning nothing heavy, nothing symbolic. The first things that come to my mind. I think he's the king of birds. Everybody understands that. Sharp eyes, isn't it? Very sharp eyes. What's the eagle famous for? Very, 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 very sharp eyes. He sees better than we do. Talons, strong. The muscles of the legs, very strong. And I believe they can even carry away small sheep and fly away. That's how sharp it is. And then you have strength and speed. Speed is another thing. So the eagle flies right on top and then it's got such sharp eyesight that it can look down and then swoop down and pick up a fish and go away. It's that quick and that sharp. So that's my plain speak. I might also think about what is its diet and what is its habitat, where does it live. So I'll get a lot of information about the title by just using my own understanding, common sense and previous knowledge. Now, I read this poem. Is it about an eagle? Yes. So I can see their mountain. So I know, yes, it's about, that's part of what I knew already. And that wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. So yes, he's flying over the sea. And then he watches from his mountain walls and then he, like a thunderbolt, he falls. So it's making some sense to me, but I'm saying what's all this fuss about? Okay, so he's flying over the sea and then he falls like a thunderbolt Why is he falling? Now, if I knew about his diet, I might say maybe he saw a fish and he's falling very quickly to catch the fish. This might be, but I'm still wondering what's all this fuss about with this poem. So let's look at the symbolisms. Now, what happens with poets is they try to pack a lot of wonderful meaning into these few words that they use. So a lot of meanings are symbolic. So let's look at the symbolic meaning. So symbolically, all of this would translate to mighty. King means regal, isn't it? There's a particular attitude about the eagle. He's observant. He's a loner. He's sitting right on that mountain top, so far away from everybody else. So there's a loneliness attached to him. He's awe-inspiring. An eagle is something. An eagle came and sat somewhere in your yard, everyone would kind of go and look at it and say, wow, what a bird. And the way its beak is, and the way its whole face, the whole demeanor of the eagle is extremely royal, right? And therefore, there you have symbolic connotations with countries or with cultures. So the bald eagle is the national symbol of the US, and Garuda is our own symbol of the mythological bird. Garuda is also the national airline of Indonesia. So there are lots of cultures that venerate the eagle. So therefore, eagle is therefore very sacred for a lot of people. So we've got all these impressions of this eagle when we are looking at this poem, and we need to kind of activate all these impressions in our mind when we read a poem on the eagle. It will help. Now the other thing I want to talk to you about is, in all poems, there are what we call word clusters. Word clusters are words that stick together. Okay? So when the poet is using 39 words, if he has repeated 4 words in that over and over again, the same word, it means it's very important, isn't it? So therefore we need to start looking at word clusters. What are the clusters that we find in this poem? So you will look at the verbs. There seems to be a lot of verbs in this poem. He clasps the crag with crooked hands. Ring de jour, beneath him crawls. So there's crawls. And then there is watches. And then there is falls. And then there is stands. So there are a whole bunch of action words or verbs. Now if you look at all the verbs, what is the one verb that does not seem to fit the eagle? Clasps, strong. Stands, strong. Crawls, doesn't sound very good. Worms crawl and all sorts of creatures crawl. Watches, good one. Falls, good act, decisive action. So this one, crawls, seems to be out of place. And what is crawling there? The sea. The eagle is not crawling, the sea is crawling. So there is one contrast there in that verb with crawls. Okay? You have a nature cluster. Now when you read it, the first thing that strikes you is there's a lot of nature words. What are the nature words? You've got sun, isn't it? You've got lands. Then what do you have? The azure world. Azure is blue and therefore sky. What else do you have? You've got the sea. Then you've got the mountain. See? And then you've got the thunderbolt. Can you see all those words? And they stand for different spaces. So you've got the land, you've got the sea, you've got the mountain, you've got the rain and the thunder and the fire of the thunderbolt. And then you've got the sun, again fire. So you've got this earth, water, fire, sky, and what else do you need? All your elements, your 4 or 5 elements have come into this. So therefore, there is what we call cosmic imagery. Why cosmic? Because it's about the cosmos. It is not just ordinary imagery, it's not leaves and plants and fruits. It's sun and lands and sky and sea and mountains and thunderbolt, the fire of the thunderbolt. So it's got everything. And does it match the regality of the eagle? When we are talking about the eagle and we call the eagle regal and mighty and awe-inspiring, Again, this whole cosmic imagery seems to add to the eagle, doesn't it? And because he's used those words, it attaches itself to the eagle's personality and makes the eagle bigger and mightier than it would be if it were being seen as just a bird. So it's not just a bird, it's a symbolic bird of might. Okay? So that's what word clusters will do for you. It will allow you to look at abstractions. It will allow you to look at the symbolic meanings of very ordinary things. So we've got cosmic imagery there. And then look at the emotions. One emotion that stands out is the loneliness, because it's written there, in lonely lands. The loneliness is one emotion of the eagle that you find in this poem. Okay? And what else do you have? Then you have this word ringed. Ringed. What do they say? Ringed with the azure sky he stands. So where the eagle is standing, you can almost put a ring down that. Ringed with that world and the eagle in the middle. So what is it? It's like framing the eagle, isn't it? It's a snapshot of this mighty eagle ringed with the sky like that around him. So again, the might and the awe-inspiring nature of the eagle is re-emphasized. So you've got ringed, and then you've got this word beneath. See this word beneath. The wrinkled sea. Look at the word wrinkled. What does wrinkled show? What is normally associated with wrinkled? Age. Isn't it? Age, wear and tear, something that's not very attractive, all of these things. So when you look at poems, study the words properly and ask yourself, what does it mean? What does it, these words, what do they connote? Connote meaning, what are the emotions, ideas, meanings attached to that word? The word wrinkled shows me age, wear and tear, unattractive, probably ready to die. That sort of very unattractive imagery there. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. Beneath. Again, does it emphasize the kingship of the eagle? Because the sea, and what is crawling beneath him? They're not worms. The sea, the ocean is crawling beneath him. Look at the might of the bird. So it's over and over you have got this emphasis on the eagle's kingship simply by the kind of words that the poet has used. Beneath him crawls, so ringed and beneath we have looked at, and then watches, observant. Now, through the entire poem, do you see movement, huge amounts of movement, or do you see stillness? That's what you have to ask yourself. I'm going to read it again. He clasps the crag with crooked hands. Crooked. Watch that also. Crooked hands. Close to the sun in lonely lands, up there. Ringed with the azure world he stands. Is there movement? No. He just seems to be standing there. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. He watches from the mountain walls. Till there's absolutely no movement. And then in the last line, and like a thunderbolt he falls. So what has happened now? That sudden speed, there's a suddenness, unanticipated, sudden movement that shows a huge amount of speed. So what has the poet done? Very short poem. He's kept it still, and that last line he's created that speed for you by sheer contrast. That's what he's done. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay? Now let's look at the devices. So you'll immediately find that there is a personification. How do we know? Addressed as he, his. See? His mountain walls. Look at the ownership. He owns the mountain. The sea is beneath him. That's the might of the eagle. So you've got the he repeated over and over again. Strong personification, strong ownership of cosmic spaces. That's what you find there. So you have alliteration. Cras, the crag with crooked hand, the cra, cra, cra sound. Is it rough or smooth? Rough. So therefore the eagle is in a habitat that is very, very rough. So, and then you have lonely lands, again an alliteration. So, you will find a few alliterations here and there, very musical and yet very powerful. You have repetitions, and you have the last one there is a simile. And like a thunderbolt, likening the eagle to a thunderbolt. What does the thunderbolt stand for? Fire, rain, electricity, might of nature, very strong might of nature that almost destroys trees, houses, sometimes entire villages depending upon how it strikes. So the power of the way in which the eagle drops down to the earth after sitting and watching for so long. So this is your poem. If you appreciate it like this, now suddenly this poem has become amazing, hasn't it? Otherwise when you're reading it, you're saying, okay, what's the big deal? It's about some eagle sitting somewhere and then he falls down to take some fish. But because he created cosmic imagery, because he used a whole bunch of devices, you suddenly find that the might of the eagle is very strong in your mind. In future, when you quote this poem, you will quote it with pride, you will quote it with ownership, you will quote it with a sense of affection and say, what a poem that was, the eagle. Okay? When you come to mood, mood is always sitting inside the poem. Mood is not what you feel, mood is what the poet has created. So what sort of words has the poet used? Strong, powerful, mighty. Hasn't he used that sort of words? And therefore the mood is one of energy. The mood is one of tremendous energy, very positive and very celebratory of this amazing bird, the eagle. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for listening. In the description box, make sure you go to our website, and there's an entire section on poetry in Writing with Ease. Do buy the book and subscribe to our channel. So until we meet again, keep reading poetry and enjoying yourself.